Okay, we are not live, but we are going to record
Whoa.
this and put it on our Buzzsprout because we have a new audio only option for those people who don't like to watch YouTube. And we also have the Kids Throw 2 YouTube page for those who like to see people when they talk to each other. I am Whitney Ingram. I'm coming to you live, unlive actually, but I am coming to you from KTT, Kids Throw 2 show. I am just introing and outroing because it is a show for kids and made by kids for kids, and I'm not a kid. We are here with the one, the only Bernie Nabors. He's a staple within the ACL. If you don't know who he is, just wait till you hear his voice and you'll recognize him real quick. If you know anything about cornhole and watch it. We have two of our KTT hosts. We have Riley Schaff and Jaden Bunch, and they are going to do a great job. So at this point, I say goodbye and good luck, and I'll talk to you guys at the end.
I am so glad to have you here with us, Bernie. After
Thank you.
a couple of days, I've been getting
I know. It's exciting. I'm pumped.
Yeah, so my first question is, out of all the stats in cornhole, how do you keep them all straight?
How do we keep all the stops straight, huh? Well, stats. Well, I'm pretty lucky. I've got folks like Trey Ryder, Mike Morton, Anthony Ione, folks that are really into kind of the nitty gritty of it all, that can really get into the detail. They're very detail oriented type A type personalities. That's lucky for me because I'm not. So, they're able to kind of collect all those statistics and kind of put them out for us. So, without them, it would require a lot more work on my part. But considering that we have the tablets at every one of the major tournaments, everyone's keeping their score, their bag tracking for each round. And so that allows us to keep statistics that way.
Okay, so you're saying that you guys work together?
Absolutely.
Help
Absolutely.
Each other.
Yeah, it's a group effort with the ACL. We've got quite a number of folks now. When we first started a few years ago, there was only maybe 5 or 6 of us total in the office. So, now we've got a pretty big group of folks, and we've got, people that are kind of geared more to keeping those statistics. I can't even talk, keeping them in line with Sean Sarkowitz. With the technology he's developed, it allows us to really keep those stats in line, and kind of, every couple of months they're updated. So we kind of have through the season updated stats for all the pros.
That's cool. What are some challenges that you have seen people have playing cornhole?
It's a really good question. I think you have kind of a layered group of challenges. And what I mean by that is, when people first get into the game, I think they're somewhat intimidated if they go, say, to play in a local blind draw somewhere, and they'll see some people that have been playing for a while, and they get a little intimidated by that, kind of like, wow, these guys are so good, they're kind of out of my league, but you kind of have to just stick with it, get better. And in every sport, I don't care if it's cornhole, football, basketball, golf, hockey, you name the sport, if you're playing with people that are better than you, it's going to make you better. And then the second level of challenges is really just kind of internal. And what I mean by that is being able to focus, being able to kind of, if you make a mistake, let's say you go for an airmail and you miss it, goes off the board, you end up giving up points, let that go. That round's now over, that bag's gone. Being able to stay in the moment and kind of stay focused for the bags that are ahead of you instead of the bags behind you.
Yeah, if I throw bad bags, I'll get in my head sometimes if I'm playing a really good player.
Yeah, I'm the worst. That's why I talk about it. I can't play it because I will sit there, and there's certain professionals, even at the highest level. What makes a Matt Guy so good, for example, is his ability, because he's a human being, he's going to make mistakes, but his ability to say, all right, that bag no longer matters. It doesn't exist anymore. We now have to go forward. His ability to stay focused on the bag that's in his hand and not the bags he's already thrown. That's what really kind of separates him. And that's probably the biggest challenge when they get to that professional level, is kind of letting those mistakes go, because we're all going to make them.
Yeah, I find it really hard not to go after that bag. But someone said, if you go off the side of the board, don't worry about that bag. You still got 3.
Exactly.
You still got 9 points in your hand. So just go up.
Exactly. That's, and like I said, I joke about it all the time, but I'm serious. One of the reasons why I'm not good is because when I make a mistake, I allow it to get in my head. And when you look at the really good players, they just, you know, like you just said, if there's a bag off the board and the first bag, you've still got 9 points in your hand. Go get those 9 points.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what makes a better player on ESPN? Like
better-
a loud person or quiet person or
That's a really good question. Thank you. I like someone that shows me more emotion, right? I think it's better on television if you've got somebody that gives you some emotion. Now, you kind of need that emotion to be positive, right?
Mhm.
You don't want the yelling and the cussing at themselves where everyone can hear it, but you want someone that kind of shows you they're invested emotionally. I mean, I think it's more entertaining. I mean, let me ask you guys, since I'm throwing a question back at you. Would you rather watch a player that kind of shows you they're excited? Or look, Trey Birchfield's been one of the best players on the planet now for 2 going on 3 years, but you're not going to get much from Trey, right? You're not going to see whether he's excited, whether he's upset. You're not going to see much. Me as a fan, I like Jacob Trzynski, who's a rookie this year, someone that you know how he's feeling, right? You can tell he's excited when he makes a big shot. I think that adds a lot to the game.
yeah, he shows his emotions, which is good.
Absolutely.
Sometimes he goes a little bit off, but all the pros do that when they make a shot. So
Yeah.
I don't blame them. As long as you're showing that you're having fun and you're doing well, then that's basically the point of the game.
Absolutely. I think when you can boil it down to that very statement that you just made, all of these players, when they get to that level, are so good. I think sometimes they forget that when they first started, the whole reason they started playing was because it was so much fun. And you have to kind of drill it into your head to, hey, just have fun. Because it gets, it's stressful, especially if they make a broadcast and you've got cameras all over you and lights, and so many people are watching you at home, but you still got to try to have fun. And I think the players that kind of have the most fun tend to be the most successful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At our tournaments, like my cousin, he goes and he tries and he has fun, but he does it more for competition instead of trying to have fun there. And
Yeah.
like I go for fun and do really good at those tournaments.
That's awesome. See, and that's all right. I'm going to draw an analogy for you guys. I'm going to compare it to another sport that a friend of mine's really good with. A good buddy of mine's a really good surfer. And he got to the level to where he could kind of compete. And then he realized he wasn't having as much fun because he knew he was never going to be the best, but he was kind of losing the fun of it, thinking about competing. So he was just like, what am I doing? The whole reason I started to stand up on this thing is because I love doing it. I love the way it makes me feel. And it's the same thing like you're talking about throwing bags. I mean, it's fun, right? I mean, you're competing with someone or another team or whatever, but you want to have as much fun as possible, because if you're having fun, what's it matter, right?
Mhm.
What's something you see that bothers you that players do?
Another very good question. What bothers me? I mean, it kind of piggybacks on what we were just talking about. I see some players every now and then, they just can't, their attitude when they don't win is just so poor. Right. They'll go kick over a trash can, or they'll start to complain about everything else. Right. It wasn't that I played bad and just, had a bad game. It's, something's wrong with the boards. The lighting's not good enough. And they find every other reason in the world that they made mistakes other than, I just played bad. It's my fault. And so I think not, owning up to their responsibility as a player when they're playing is probably what bothers me the most.
Yeah, or blaming it on their partner.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? You're right. That actually might bother me more, because especially in doubles, your partner's not trying to, mess you up, right? They're not trying to mess you up. So if they're not playing well, you have to do your best job to kind of, pump them up a little bit, and play better, maybe kind of carry them for a couple of rounds till they find it again. But, the players that start shaking their heads and kind of, looking at their partners a certain way, you're right. That probably is the worst.
They're probably only doing it so that they don't make themselves seem as bad as
Absolutely. It's more about how they feel inside themselves. So if you ever do have a bad game and your partner's being that way, no, it's probably much more about your partner than it is about you.
Yep. So I asked Cody Henderson a while back ago about what he's doing to push cornhole into the Olympics. I want to hear your answer about this.
What we're doing to push cornhole to the Olympics. Well, I will tell you that the management group with the ACL, Stacy Moore, the commissioner, especially, and Trey Ryder, have really made a push. What we're doing is trying to get tournaments in other countries, because to qualify for the Olympics, you have to have other countries around the world play your sport. It can't just be an American sport. So now we're going to Canada in a month. We're going to Europe later this year. So we're really trying to grow the game in other countries. So if they can pick up the game and find the love for the game that we enjoy here in the States, then we can go to the U.S. Olympic Committee and say, look at what we've done here. This sport is now worldwide. We all want to compete in a level like the Olympics. So it's, as we get more and more countries involved, we'll be that much closer to get it in the Olympics.
Yeah, we'll get more people interested in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the goal.
Yeah, this is a little bit different than the question, but today in school, a lady came up to me and asked me what I thought for an opinion on trying to make cornhole to play into the school. And I'm like, that would be fun. That'd be cool. So she asked for my name because she saw me on TV and she'd been looking at cornhole. She'd been watching videos and everything. So she wanted to try to push it in with all other sports. So
Yeah.
I think that's good for someone to ask that.
Absolutely. And if you ever have any questions, we do have someone that handles school level cornhole. So get in touch with your local director. You can get in touch with Whitney. You can get in touch with me if you'd like, and we can put you in contact with the person that kind of handles our school level cornhole competitions, and we can see what we can do about getting it in your school.
Yeah, I was actually kind of excited when she said that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So does that make you feel pretty cool walking around campus? Everyone's seen you on TV because you play cornhole?
Yeah, a lot of adults have come up to me and asked me about the questions and stuff. And my face is already up on the wall on my team, so.
How cool is that? That's awesome.
Yeah, they find it cool. I don't like.
Why not?
It's just weird. Look at a poster of myself up on the school walls and my team.
I got to tell you, if I was your age, I'd be standing by that poster all the time. Going, that's me right there.
What do you do daily for the ACL?
What do I do daily? Well, right now I'm involved with content. So a lot of the stuff that you see on social media, you know, for example, Jeff McCarrigan and I have the Borderline podcast that we put up. I write a piece called Bernie's Beats. And, you know, my daily contribution is whatever they need me to do. Does that make sense? If they say, hey, we need you to go on XYZ podcast or XYZ show and be a part of that, that's kind of what I do. If I'm needed to talk about, you know, travel plans for the ACL, that's what I do. So basically, I don't have, and this is odd, I don't have like a set list of things to do, but whatever they need me to do, they let me know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I have my podcast. I do the Around the ACL stuff with Trey Ryder when we talk about the bracket reveal shows and stuff like that. But really, whatever they need me to do, I either get an email or a phone call, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
What are some songs that you have completely memorized?
What are some what?
What are some songs you have completely memorized?
Songs that I have completely memorized. Wow. Putting me on the spot. I like it. Wow, there's really too many, Riley. Let's see. All right, you ready?
Hmm?
How old are you guys?
I'm 11.
You're 11? How old, Jaden?
14.
14? All right. So when I was y'all's age in that area, I memorized a song called Sucker MCs from Run DMC way back in the day. and I could do that song backwards and forwards in my head. That was the first concert I ever got to go see when I was 13. So that was a pretty cool deal for me. Gosh, I'm trying to think of a present day song that I have memorized. You put me on the spot and I can't come up with a good answer. Outside of that, I mean, there's a number of songs. Man, put me on the spot. I like it. That's the only one I can think of for some reason. I know there's millions that once I hear it on the radio, it'll come into my head, but I can't think other than that one. I Ain't No Joke by Eric B. and Rakim is one that I remember backwards and forwards. The song Creep from a band called Radiohead, I've memorized backwards and forwards. There's a few. How about you? All right, I'm throwing it back to you. What songs have you memorized right now? It's a tough question to answer because you know there's more than one. It's
There's
tough.
this one from Alicia Keys I like. It's Underdogs. I
Okay.
know that song pretty well. I know a lot of Imagine Dragons songs pretty well too.
Oh, cool. Right on. All right, Jaden, what you got memorized over there?
Probably one of Johnny Cash's songs.
Really? That's awesome.
Yep. I can't even remember the name of it now. One Piece at a Time.
There you go. Look at you. Nice. You guys' answers are much better than mine.
Okay, so speaking of when you were a kid, did you play any other sports?
Growing up, I played football, basketball, and baseball. As I got older, I ran. My mom didn't want me playing football so much because I was really small.
Yeah.
But I played into high school. I played basketball and then ran. And then that's really it on a competitive level. Those are the only sports I really played. I mean, I played everything growing up, right? But football, and in my generation, football, basketball, and baseball were kind of the big three that everyone played.
Mm-hmm. So, what position did you play in baseball?
Second base and center field.
Second base and center field. Throwing the ball, do you think it had anything to do with cornhole?
Throwing the ball, I think this is a really good question, and I'm glad you asked it. Like, have you ever watched, when you watch cornhole players and so many of them don't step when they throw, they just kind of stand still and throw?
Yeah.
Well, I like that because of the way the mechanics work. There's less movement in the body, which allows less mistakes. I like the way when the players step because it's more like you're just asking. It's more like throwing. Your body's kind of moving forward. It's a little bit more of an athletic move, which I think if you're athletic at all, it kind of helps you focus a little bit. But I think there's definitely a correlation there between throwing a ball and cornhole. It's just overhand, underhand. I think softball players, we have quite a few of the ladies that were softball pitchers. I think they have a little bit of an advantage because they have that kind of already built in motion. So, but yeah, I think the athleticism of throwing and cornhole is very similar.
Yeah, like you take your time and everything.
Yep.
You make sure you're aiming for that player.
Absolutely.
The only difference is that you go overhand instead of underhand.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, your hand-eye coordination, follow, the ball or the bag is going to follow where your eyes want it to go. And so throwing and pitching a bag are kind of the same in that way.
Yeah.
So my dad and I watched an interview with Whitney and Mish about you. And you mentioned you mentioned the word zaddy.
Zaddy.
So I'm wondering what makes you zaddy.
I am not in any way zaddy, unfortunately. I am not cool enough to come up with that one. But
well, maybe how about when you were younger or something? When
I was younger, maybe. I'm pretty I used to be a pretty cocky kid, oddly enough, even though I'm not now. And I think that level of confidence kind of helped me. I think if you can kind of develop confidence in yourself, it helps other people see you in a better light. Because if you feel that good about yourself, it only makes other people feel good about you. And cocky wasn't good, but confident was very good. Cocky, no one likes the cocky guy, right? There's just too much of that attitude. But I think everyone likes a confident person because that person feels good about themselves, and they're gonna share how they feel. When you're confident in yourself, it allows you to be nicer to other people because you're not worried about what's going on inside.
Yeah.
What were you cocky about? I'm just wondering. I'm curious.
I think that's a really good question. It was probably fake. I think I was insecure, and so I wanted to portray myself as not being insecure. And so it came off a little bit as cocky, but deep down I was kind of insecure. I was really small. I was, kind of, we all have our insecurities. I didn't really like the way that I looked all that much. And so I learned to kind of enjoy myself. And, I realized that I was kind of funny. And so maybe people would like that about me, but that cockiness was probably, when you play sports in school, people kind of treat you different, and I think some of it came from that, but really I think it was more because I was insecure and I was trying to hide it.
So you're trying to be the bigger person, like trying to make yourself more noticed.
Yeah, I was. That's a really good way to put it. I think being smaller, I was trying to make myself known instead of just allowing people to see me as who I am.
All right, I gotta speak up here because as a woman who is married to a shorter guy, I have to tell you that I am most attracted to the shorter men in life because they tend to be the most funny.
That's true. Well, we have to be something, right?
You got to work against the height difference, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
Work a little bit harder.
Tall, good-looking guys are
telling
never
you.
funny.
There's something there. Bernie, can I tell you that in all of the interviews I've seen you on and the ones that I've personally done with you, this has been by far one of my favorite I've seen with you.
Oh, yeah? I mean, this is fun.
It speaks both to you. I think your answers were so on point and so, they dove deep and they gave some great life lessons to our kids for the kids. There are two hosts. And then I think it speaks volumes of Jaden and Riley because they asked some great questions and I did not prep them whatsoever. These are all questions they came up with on their own.
They asked awesome questions.
Right? I'm thinking, I want to ask a couple that we left out.
Okay.
Sorry, you're not going to get away that easy.
No.
If you were a pro and you had to pair with a pro, who are you picking?
Right now? Mark Richards.
Why?
His game is ridiculous, right? He's such an amazing player, but it's his demeanor. He's so calm and relaxed when he plays. Nothing seems to faze him. I believe Jaden mentioned earlier, we were talking about it, your partner you don't want your partner to be kind of a jerk to you if you make a mistake. Mark Richards isn't that guy. Very relaxed. If his partner makes a mistake, he's like, all right, we got it. I'll get you back next, it's all good. And obviously his talent is so extreme that you want someone that's going to be that high level of talent, but he's just such a relaxed, easygoing guy that I think that would be fun to partner with.
I love that you picked him because he's not one of the top 5 you always hear about. And right. You know what? You get a lot of pushback for always talking about the same ones. I think all the commentators do. Why are we always featuring the same players?
Right.
Mark Richards is not one that is one of the always featured players. So I love that.
Not right now. He's not. If he keeps playing the way he's playing, we're going to be seeing a lot of him. I think as announcers, we get kind of caught up because you have to talk about the best players in the game. It's kind of our job. Yeah. Right. And it's, those players have earned their right to be talked about.
So let's touch on that. Riley and Jaden, I'm not sure if you know this, but sometimes Bernie refers to himself as the most hated man in cornhole. So I want to hear why he refers to himself as that and why he thinks that about himself.
Okay. That's a good question. I think that when I announce games during the streaming package, I tend to be very blunt. I don't consider myself.
You're a truth teller.
I don't consider myself mean. I think some people think I'm mean. I'm not mean, but if a player's not playing well, it's my job to say they're not playing well. And I think some people have gotten upset that I've been so vocal about it. Other people, Jeff McCarriger, for example, is very good at basically never saying something mean about a player, right? He's never going to mention if they're off or not.
But again, it's not mean, right?
I don't think it's mean.
You're a truth teller.
I don't think it's mean. And I think that people, because of that, certain numbers of people have gotten upset with me. And then the whole, there've been other times, like you just mentioned, where we don't talk about all 256 professionals. Well, A, we don't have time to talk about all 256 professionals.
It would be a long broadcast.
And B, if you think about even our streaming, we're not getting matches until the first few rounds have been played.
Right.
So we're not even getting an opportunity to see that bottom quarter of the pro division. So we can't talk about them. And it's not really our job as broadcasters to talk about every single pro. It's our job to call what we see. And because of the way I do it, I think sometimes people get a little upset.
But I think that just like a basketball ESPN, caller, or a baseball person, like if somebody makes an error, you call it an error.
Yes.
You don't sugarcoat it. There's no crying in baseball. There should be no crying in cornhole, right?
Right. And we are talking about professionals. We're not, if I was at
a kids throw two tournament, maybe
right, I would call it completely different, but I'm talking about the top 256 players in the country, and right now really the world. So when I'm talking about those people, and I'm talking about the people that are making broadcasts and streaming courts, you have to look at it with a certain degree of honesty, and not everyone likes to hear that about themselves.
Agreed. Okay, so we're going to close this out with a quick spitfire question and answer. I'm going to ask all three of you. We're going to go Bernie, Jaden, Riley. Bernie, Jaden, Riley. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask the question. We'll start with Bernie. You got it. Favorite food? Bernie.
Favorite food? Steak.
Jaden.
My favorite food would be a filet mignon.
There you go.
Oh, it's okay. Riley.
Nachos, mayo nachos.
Oh,
My nachos are good.
Uh-oh.
Not just any nachos, Riley nachos. Got it. All right. Favorite movie or TV show?
My favorite, Star Wars. All 9 of them. Give me all of them.
Or whatever.
I'll watch it all day.
Yeah,
Okay,
Star Wars is pretty good.
My favorite movie is probably King Kong Skull Island.
Huh. You're an old soul, Jaden. All right. What about you, Riley?
I've had a lot of favorite movies, but just recently, not too long ago, my mom turned on this movie called Quiet Place. I really enjoyed it. Only it really scared me though.
Yeah, it's a scary one.
I love it. Biggest phobia or fear, Bernie?
Heights.
Okay, that was quick. What about you? What about you, Jaden?
I don't know.
You're not scared of anything?
I'm throwing another one in. I'm going spiders as well. Height and spiders.
That's what I was gonna pick, Bernie. I hate spiders. Even tarantulas, they creep me out. Even if I think
even
about it.
tarantulas, especially tarantulas.
Yeah, he stole my words out.
I feel like we can all agree spiders are no bueno.
No.
Leave it at that. All right. Last thing is, do you guys have any big dreams or hopes or bucket list items?
I would like to see, I need to go to Europe outside. I mean, I've been to Ireland. I would like to go to mainland Europe. It's a
Anywhere in particular?
Paris or Rome.
Paris is a little overrated if you ask me.
That's
Bernie.
what I've heard, but I want to see it.
All right. Yeah. Why not? Check that off your box. Okay. What about you, Jaden? Any bucket list before this life of yours? Well, you got plenty of time. Has ended. What would you like to do?
Become ACL pro.
There you go.
I love it. Great bucket list item. What about you, Riley?
It's a good question. Well, I wanted to go to Florida. I wanted to play in school sports that are big where everyone's watching me.
Okay, well, let's cornhole there, Riley. Together we can do this. And you will be
that was before, but now I'm not really worried about that right now because I have cornhole. So
yeah, you can have ESPN. Who cares what's happening?
Hold on, I have another one for you, Whitney. I have another one. North Carolina beating Duke this weekend in the Final Four. Bucket list has to happen.
I'm going to disagree with that because my bracket, I'm on Brendan Ahern from the Dogcasts bracket. and I'm currently in 4th place. I'm the only one with Kansas winning. So I'm gonna need, go Jeff McCarriger, by the way. I am going to need Kansas to go ahead and kick Villanova, kick Duke's butt. Guys, we're really rooting. Whitney needs a new
No Duke.
cornhole.
No Duke ever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that as long as Kansas wins. But anyway, you guys have been amazing. Bernie, we are so appreciative of your time. We know
That was
that
my
it's
honor. It's my pleasure.
hard to peg you down. If you guys are out there and you have not been watching Jeff McCarriger and Bernie Nabors on the Borderline, you need to watch them because it is one of my favorite podcasts. You guys talk some cornhole, but you talk a lot about other stuff, which is awesome to me because I think that that's some of the coolest stuff in cornhole. Like I get cornholed out, but I really, really, truly, genuinely enjoy that podcast.
Thank you.
So every week. So you know, I think everybody should
Right
check
back
that
at
out,
you.
right? And that, well, we try. You know, some episodes are better than others on Girls Star 2, but the Kids Star 2 episodes always fire. So to Jaden and Riley, y'all did an excellent job. We don't get to, when I hang up, it's going to disconnect us all, so we don't get to debrief. I just want to tell you, I'm appreciative of all 3 of y'all.
Thanks, guys.
And I can't wait to see you guys
Yeah.
next time in
So
person.
glad to have you, Bernie.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Bernie.
bye, y'all.
See ya.
Yeah.